I think one of the virtues of the way in which I've approached my practice is that I am anti-style. I think that that comes a bit out of my rebellious nature to not conform. I mean, I'm coming out of growing up, really coming of age as a teenager in the 60s. Also, I was coming out of a very strong teaching, which was the Winogrand aesthetic of your preconceptions are not your friends.
Hi there. I generally shy away from photographers whose point of departure is strongly motivated by ideas of activism or politics. Whether it's partisan issues, environmental concerns, or whatever. And the main reason is because their cause or ideology almost always overshadows what I would consider to be the more interesting and enduring aspects of photography. I think Mitch Epstein's work is interesting because he pushes his positions to the edge and to a point sidesteps the trap of becoming evangelical. I can appreciate much of his work on an aesthetic, conceptual and structural level without thinking that I should be taking notes. It's a tricky balance to hold. One has to walk the line between communicating an idea while preserving the act of seeing. It might be useful to look at his work holding this symmetry in mind. In fact, it's not a mind thing. One normally feels when a photographer is supplying answers rather than asking questions. Epstein ties meaning to his search for beauty, and he did say, "I don't want to tell people what to think, I want them to think." I'll come back to this concern at various stages within the video. Tracking his career through various bodies of work, I'll also monitor how his attitude towards his photography has changed.
Photography was when I got serious about pursuing a practice, something. Although I didn't think about it in that way, it was just, it pulled me in. But it was fun, it was pleasurable too. I think if it wasn't, I wouldn't have so quickly been swallowed up. And photography and me just clicked.
Over 50 years ago in the 70s, Epstein arrived in New York to study at the Cooper Union Art College with Gary Winogrand. One day he asked Professor Winogrand why one shouldn't shoot in color. Winogrand responded, "Why not?" Epstein mixed things up, alternating between using black and white and his preference, Kodachrome. You can recognize from this work the strong influence of his teacher. Over time, he became dissatisfied with the limitations of the street photography approach. He wanted to move beyond capturing isolated moments and instead investigate broader social issues. This led him to adopt a slower, more deliberate way of working, often using large format cameras and developing long-term projects centered on a single theme. His project Recreation was an important transitional step in his career. He traveled widely through the US over a 15-year period, gradually moving away from the spontaneity of street work towards a more contemplative and structured approach. He became interested in revealing qualities of ordinary public spaces and the subtle ways in which people inhabit the American landscape. This photograph has an almost snapshot feel, but at the same time it reveals a complex, layered story. It's obviously particularly poignant because the World Trade Center towers were still standing.
I came across a man who was lying on a cot, must have kept this in his car. He had like an emerald Cadillac. And somehow I just had the instinct, to step back. I think I made maybe 2 frames. maybe a little bit nervous because he had a bit of, kind of a Jersey mobster sort of feel about the car, and just like, who is this person who's got the gumption to set himself up like this?
The spaces that he visited became stages on which he could investigate American identity and social behavior. The photographs are open and they reveal his genuine curiosity about the country. He was retaining the observational quality of street photography, but the images are carefully composed and more psychological.
The recreation photographs were pictures that I made beginning in the early 70s, really up through the early 90s. They came out of my excitement about making pictures, being out in the world, me being in places and situations where people were engaging with different kinds of leisure activities. But synonymously, they were also about my engagement with the pleasurable activity of making pictures.
In the 2000s, Epstein's interest shifted again from observing how people occupy public spaces to investigating the deeper forces that shape American society. In his book, American Power, he was photographing landscapes in order to reveal evidence of political, economic, and environmental systems. Even though we as viewers remain clear about his concern for the environment and the impact of power structures on communities, he allows us to retain our awareness of the broader context while we appreciate the strangeness of these juxtapositions. We are therefore able to engage with the subject through the filter of photographic complexity and depth. As discussed earlier, communicating from a particular philosophical position can put one in a precarious photographic position. While photographing the decline of apartheid in the 1980s and 90s, I remember having such clarity about right and wrong. But after witnessing years of misery perpetrated by all sides within the political conflict, I became less able to deal in absolutes. I think certainty is a position for those who are well informed, but still don't know enough. After I stopped working as a photojournalist, my photographs became more personal and elusive.
There was a very clear dividing line between the first 15, 20 years where I think I was working in a way very unself-consciously. And that was a blessing because I wasn't really concerned about, developing conceptual constructs that I had to work in. I was just loving photography, and it was a way to be out in the world. I think the world itself was less self-conscious. It was pre-digital. Everybody didn't have a camera, so everybody wasn't thinking about, oh, am I being photographed? Everybody wasn't paying attention to, is there a surveillance camera that's watching me now? There was something more free about it.
Epstein is often discussed alongside Joel Sternfeld and Stephen Shaw, because they all photographed the American landscape and helped to establish color photography as a serious artistic medium. While the other two were primarily observers of American life, Epstein gravitated towards the political. Sternfeld would often use irony, humor, and the surreal to convey his ideas, while Epstein remained more on point. Stephen Shaw's well-known bodies of work were concerned with the perceptual. He was exploring in an open-ended manner the significance of ordinary spaces without imposing a particular interpretation. After American Power, Epstein said that he didn't want to make another body of work that was rooted in rage. As a New Yorker, he began taking note of the trees within the city. He felt that there was a way to show the corruption of the human relationship to the natural world, while at the same time communicating nature's nobility and mystery as it navigates the human presence. From the outset, he wanted to photograph in black and white. The trees become the central characters in the work because he conceptually isolates them in a formal manner.
Here was this tree that was 350 years old, just around the corner from me in Washington Square, that was planted when this landscape was Dutch farmlands, and the city sort of built itself up around it. So instead of looking at the tree with the city, as some punctuation within this larger architectural and human landscape of the city, it was meaningful for me to bring that tree forward that came before everything that built itself up around it, and to do it in a way that would create this kind of layered experience where, yes, the tree was center stage and it was witness to this long time.
I really like this body of work because when looking at these tree portraits, one begins to recognize that within the urban environment, there are life forms with their own mode of existence, operating within their own time frame. During the last 10 years, Epstein has shifted again and seems to be responding more directly to events as they emerge.
And I went with my wife Susan to the Women's March the day after the inauguration, Trump's inauguration, and it just got under my skin. There was a kind of emotional swell that day that took me back to my protesting against the Vietnam War in my teenage years. And when it was clear that Trump was going to be reversing the environmental review of the Dakota Access Pipeline, I thought, you know what, I've got to just go out there and experience it and put myself in this place.
On a photographic level, it's interesting to examine his newer work and gauge whether questions are still being asked and whether the act of seeing is still being prioritized. The measure isn't about the legitimacy of his ideas. It's the degree to which the work still leaves interpretive space for the viewer. I'll run some images from his body of work called Property Rights. The pictures explore recent activism aimed at upholding civil and human rights. I'm interested to hear your thoughts regarding how these photographs make you feel and whether you think they still hold the line. Thanks for joining me. Please join me again next time.
So Standing Rock, I had followed what was going on in Standing Rock, but I had had a broken foot and I wasn't really traveling in that year that it was really kind of building. And that led, over the course of several years to look at conflicts around land rights. There were very heated confrontations going on, like the border, to try to understand the border. When the murder of George Floyd happened, and which ignited this, international protest, but the strengthening of the Black Lives Matter movement, the very concept of property all of a sudden was expanding for me in a way that felt very relevant, very integral to this project.